Hello, everyone. Once again, here we go. It's 5 o'clock. It's Wednesday. What do we do? It's another episode of Speak Your Soul. So, once again, happy to be here. Happy to be with you guys. Happy to have this platform coming to you live every Wednesday on Facebook and IG. I see you. Don't be a stranger. So, um, we are last week we celebrated a big milestone for Speak Your Soul. Last week was the 20th episode, so we are a dub in the game. So we are, that's cause for a big celebration here. So for everyone out there at Facebook, IG, we are at episode 21. So doing amazing things at Speak Your Soul. So um, want to start this. First of all, thank you once again to everyone that contributes to the Speak Your Soul poll that I put up on every Tuesday. So before I dive into this particular episode for this week, just want to kind of give you some of the my thought process and my thoughts around kind of some of the stuff that's happening out right now. Typically, I don't address it, but one of the things that I want to share with you guys is that for some strange reason, black women keep taking an L, or they want us to take an L. So this coming from a very successful, a very driven African American female. I don't like when I feel like people are, African American women are being attacked for having a personality, for having ambitions and goals and wanting to do things. So with that being said, it's one of those particular things that me just personally I don't like. I hate when black women's characters are being attacked, and I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole and start talking about Cardi B and Meg The Stallion, and then talking about the BP and all that kind of stuff. What I will say is that I just want for all of the women, the black women that watch Speak Your Soul, I hope you truly understand that you're unique, you're beautiful. Some people would have us, like I said, make us believe that we're, not worthy, that we're not fortunate, that we're not beautiful, that we're not successful, that we're not entrepreneurs, that we can't do anything that we want to do. But black women, you can do anything that you want to do. And so at this point right now, it seems like we're out here just trying to survive. But I just need you guys to really understand that, you guys have a gift, whatever it may be. Please don't be out here listening to people taking L's for no reason. If you have something to give to this world, if you have something to contribute, please keep doing so, or please do so. Do not continue to believe what people are saying, or get into the hearsay and all that kind of stuff of what's going on. Please continue to take care of business. Please continue to be a beacon, because somebody's out there watching you. There are other little girls that are watching, that want to be just like you, that want to do this, emulate you and do the same things that you do. So, black women, don't be out here. We're not taking L's. In 2020, we're not taking L's at any time. Hey, what's up, Frey? We're not taking L's. So I'm just looking at everything that's going on in the news, and I just keep seeing black women this, black women that. So this is just my 2 cents on a dollar. Continue to be a beacon. Continue to love yourself. Don't feed into what's going on in the media and all the hype, that black women are this and black women are that, because, where would you be if you didn't take your dreams and your hopes and you didn't pursue them? So they can say whatever they want to, but I am a witness. I am here to tell you that, yeah, people have said whatever they, said about me. People have said that this platform or whatever it is that I'm doing will not work. It's not going to be successful. A lot of things people have told me over the years is not going to work. You're not going to be successful, but you can't give in to what people are saying about you. Otherwise, you're not gonna thrive. You're not going to get to your end result, your end goal. So please, please, please continue to be a beacon. There are other little girls that are, hey Kelvin, what's up? There are other little girls that are coming in your wake that want to be just like you, that want to do what you do. So please don't give in to what other people say. Don't believe the hype. And please, whatever you do, do not take an unnecessary L for anybody. Black women, we're out here thriving. We're out here getting it. We're out here doing what we need to do to take care of our families, to take care of our livelihood. And people are putting, a bad spin on what we're doing. Thank you, Frey. I'm trying to be one of the black women out there that proves that you're wrong already. That you haven't won. So I just wanted to jump on here first on Speak Your Soul, because this is me. This is my podcast. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is my podcast where I get the esteemed pleasure of coming in here and talking to you guys, and literally getting to do just that with the title of the podcast, to speak my soul. So first out of the gate, all the news, what's going on between Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, all this kind of stuff. To be honest with you, I really don't have an opinion about, what's going on. But what I won't stand for is for black women to be slandered, for our names to be dragged through the mud, for, they start bringing up equality and all this other kind of stuff, and trying to pull receipts from back, way back when, to try to prove a case against you. All of that's unnecessary. So black women, we're still winning. I'm bear witness. I'm in this thing every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, to prove to you guys that we've already won. So no need for hearsay, no need to throw dirt on my name, because trust me, whether one person, and like I said, I thank everyone every week for tuning in to Speak Your Soul. But if there's one person that jumps on here to watch me every week, I'm thankful and I'm grateful and I'm blessed for the few that gather to watch me, speak my soul and entertain the masses every week. So that just goes to show you that there is a platform for African American females to have their voices be heard. And I'm grateful to have this here, and for all the other podcasts and all the other shows that I watch on a consistent basis all the time, every week, supporting my own. So had to go ahead, like I said, and get that off my chest. But of course, we want to dive into the meat and potatoes of this week's Speak Your Soul, which has to do with talking about jealousy and envy. So having a conversation, with multiple people, Frey, my sister, just a couple of people, talking about jealousy and envy. So jealousy and envy plays a major part in friendships, relationships, as long as we can remember. But the biggest thing for me, and once again, when I come on Speak Your Soul, that's what it is. I'm speaking my soul. I can't really speak for anybody else, but I can tell my own truth and shame the devil, and give you guys stories and instances that these topics pertain specifically to me, which some of them do. So this one is a big one for me, and I appreciate the lady that jumped on, because she really didn't, a lot of people, when it comes to jealousy and envy, no one wants to admit, as I can see by the responses on this week's post, that not everybody wants to admit that they have been jealous or envious of someone else. Nobody wants to admit that. Well, that's fine. You don't have to admit that. You don't have to say that. But thank you for those people that, did speak up and say, give their opinion about this particular topic, but we're still going to roll with it anyway. So once again, as I do every week, I always start with me first. So jealousy and envy. When I was younger, being in relationships that were falling, that, really didn't go anywhere. Really, there really wasn't anything that was going on. The relationship was kind of at a crossroads where, I wasn't talking to him, he wasn't talking to me. And so when you get to that point to where the relationship is pretty much on the out, there's not really much left in this relationship, you tend to always find inspiration or things outside of your relationship that you start paying attention to, because it's more interesting than what you have going on in your own relationship. And so I used to be the primary person to have friends that would call me up and tell me about the good times that they were having, the trips that they were getting ready to go on. Oh, we getting ready to go on a cruise, and he bought me this, he bought me that. And a lot of that was materialistic envy, wanting to have the things that they had, wanting to do the things that they were doing, go on the trips that they were going. But then I took it a step further. So then, on top of all of that, wanting what they had, the materialistic stuff that they had, then you started to hear about, oh, we're getting ready to be married, and then they get married, they're starting to have a family and stuff like that. So I find myself starting to really be jealous and envious of other people's relationships, because I was on the outside looking in, and I thought that everything was just, cheerful. Everything was just a-okay. There was nothing wrong, that they were just, a beautiful couple in this beautiful relationship. They didn't have anything going wrong. They're going on trips, they're buying stuff, they're doing all these things, and did not stop and think of the cardinal rule. Sometimes what looks great is not always great. But you couldn't tell me that, because I'm in a miserable relationship with someone that's not really going anywhere. And so I'm putting this other relationship outside, of putting it on a pedestal, like, oh man, like, look at them. I wanna have what they have. I wanna do what they're doing. Yes, Frey, don't believe the hype. So it took me getting out of that relationship and just kind of taking a step back and just looking at that relationship outside of the relationship that I was in. And then you realize all the envy, all the jealousy was for naught, because they had issues, they argued, they fought, and in some instances there was some verbal abuse going on. So it's like, wait a minute, hold on. This perfect relationship that I've been so jealous of and envious of, all of a sudden the walls start falling down, and you start to realize, well, they're even worse than the relationship that I was in, taking a step further. So everything that glitters is not gold. So it took me literally getting out of the bad relationship that I was in, stepping back with, focusing, got to get my spectacles on, and looking at that relationship a little bit differently. And you start to realize it had flaws. It was flawed. But you couldn't have told me that when I was in a relationship with somebody and it wasn't working. All you see is the good stuff. You never focus on the bad stuff when you're already in a bad situation. So I will be the first person to raise my hand and says, yes. Did I have a bout where jealousy and envy came into play in relationship? Was I envious and jealous of someone else's relationship? Of course I was. But that was a long time ago. And it's like I said, as you grow, you start to understand that every relationship is going to have problems. And let me tell you how that plays in with social media. Social media would have us believe it is a platform that is built for you to create your own happiness, for you to create your own euphoria. And so those couples that are going through it, that are in bad relationships, those people that, relationships are on the rocks, you'll never know it, because social media is the platform for those people in good relationships or bad relationships to be able to come and have a place where they can show pictures of you guys smiling and everything looks good and we love each other and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, it is not the case whatsoever. So people put out pictures, painting a picture so that you can be envious of them. To me, that's what, when social media really start to hit, people literally put their relationships and everything on display for people to be jealous and envious of what they have. And you got to read between the lines. Just because you post a picture on a Tuesday of y'all going out to eat or kicking it or whatever it is, doesn't mean that's the case, that was a successful or that relationship is to be envied. You can do the same thing that some of these people are doing on social media. So being jealous and envious of somebody else's relationship won't work. What it can do is the relationship that you're in all of a sudden starts taking a tumble, starts taking a fall, because you're paying more attention to what somebody else has going on in their life versus what's going on in reality in your life. And so it's easy for certain people to get caught up in what they see with other people in other relationships, to the point that it starts affecting what they have going on in their own relationship. So jealousy and envy, it does not work, especially in regards to watching other people, watching other couples, watching other, relationships that you see between your friends. Now, that's just your friends. Another bad one is watching relationships of celebrities and couples and stuff like that. I can say this, I've never been envious of anybody that's a couple like the Jada and Wills and all that kind of stuff, because they not only go through regular struggles just like any other couple, their stuff gets scrutinized 1,000 times over. So not only are they, on display for everyone, but then all of a sudden, now you're dealing with, putting their information out 10 times for everyone in the world to see. Man, they'll even go to great lengths to be in relationships that are non-existent just to appease social media. Yikes. You got it, Frey. And that's another big one. So sometimes we create our own perfect relationships on social media, knowing dang well we don't have anybody in our lives. But because we either want that attention of what putting I'm in a relationship on social media, what that means, we either want that attention, or ourselves, there's a void there that we're trying to fill. And we want other people to believe that our world is just absolutely wonderful. And they want other people to be jealous and envious of what they have going on. But you never see a picture of the person that they're with. So I totally get you on that one, Frey. It is sad to what lengths that people will go through to prove or to tell social media, hey, I'm in a relationship, just to get you to be jealous and envious of what they got going on. So once again, don't believe the hype, but I'm about to take the conversation and twist it. So it's one thing for us to be envious of somebody else's relationship, whether it be a celebrity, whether it be a friend, somebody a family member. It's easy for us to see the good stuff in this relationship and feel like, oh, why isn't my life like that? Why am I not in this hunky-dory relationship where everything's all good? And we all know sometimes it's like that, sometimes it's not. But you have to dig deeper into the story to really understand, is it truly what it seems to be or what it appears to be on social media? But the other part to this question for this week's poll was, have you ever been jealous or envious of somebody that you were actually in a relationship with? Now, for me, yes, I have been in relationships where I was out there hustling, I was out there getting it, I was motivated, I was starting my own business. I was really putting in the work, and trust me, I was doing what I had to do to be to survive, to get money, to do what I need to do. Trying to be 100% entrepreneur. So when the other person in that you're in a relationship doesn't have a lot that's going on, and they're literally looking to you as far as living vicariously through your successes, through the things that you're doing, then you're going to deal with a situation where you're in a relationship with someone that becomes jealous and envious of you. Kelvin, I'll never be jealous of anybody else's misery. People can lead amazing lives on social media. Exactly. So you never know. And because you never know what's going on in their life, because a picture is being painted one way on social media, it's you can't really be jealous and envious of those people. But I get it all the time. There's a man, I sure do wish, that was me. I wish I could go on these trips, and I wish we could go to restaurants and go do this and that. And it's just like, it looks simple, it looks easy on social media, but are they really putting in the work? Or is it just an image that they're wanting you to truly believe that they're the perfect couple? Or we never know. But when it comes to being in an actual relationship with someone that is envious of you, it happens. I can absolutely bear witness to this. If you are driven, if you're a go-getter, if you have ambitions and goals and things that you are trying to achieve, it is one thing for you to be that way. You're gonna have to have somebody that is equally on the same playing field as you. You have to have someone that's just as ambitious, that's just as much of a go-getter, someone that is driven just the same way that you are. Because what happens when you get with somebody that literally wants to do nothing but ride your coattails and watch you succeed while they just do nothing? It is a difficult road to toe. Don't look at someone else's situation to define what your happiness should look like. Exactly. Now that's coming from my big sis. So you can't measure somebody else's situation or what somebody else is going through to define what happiness should look like. What you got going on in your relationship, like I said, the lesson for me is I just had to get out of that relationship. Period. That's the only way that I was going to truly find my own happiness. I had to leave that situation. So if that's the case, you can't stay in a bad relationship and think you're going to emulate or get to the level that somebody else is on. It's always about reaching your own level in your own relationship, what the two of you guys are doing. So that's why I say, if you have someone that you're in a relationship that the two of you are complete opposites, you might run into a situation where you're going to have somebody that's looking to you or looking up at you, wanting you to do everything, envious of what you're saying and what you're doing, and they have absolutely no drive to do it, to get out there and get it for themselves. So literally, you can be in a relationship with someone that is jealous and envious of your success and what you are doing. But as long as you're together, then they could say that they're living through you vicariously, and they're getting some of the, they're getting some of the same accolades off of the things that you've done. I've had to literally leave a relationship because he spent more time worrying about what I was doing, what accolades I was getting, how much money, what my raises were like, what type of, what my friends were like, what functions I was going to. They were so engrossed in every single last thing that I was doing because they didn't have anything going for themselves. And so when it gets to a point where somebody is so into you, so driven, so completely in your business and living through you, wanting to go where you go because they know that you're running in social circles where they can be seen, I mean, that's where you have to draw the line. So literally, I have been in that type of relationship where someone was literally just piggybacking off of everything that I was doing and loving what I had to bring to the table, but had absolutely no desire to want to do it for themselves. Seeing your significant other thrive should motivate you to do more and want more. You can't expect anyone else to bring you up when you don't know what he or she might be through just to keep his or her head above water. Exactly. If I'm in a relationship with someone and they're getting it, they're successful, they're doing what they got to do, they're out there making a name for themselves, it should motivate you as that person, as the significant other, but it should motivate you as an individual to want to get out there and get it for yourself. But that doesn't always happen. You have so many people that would rather just be complacent and sit in a relationship and watch their significant other thrive and be successful while they piggyback off of their success and the social circles that person is in. And so as long as they get to show up to the function arm in arm and say, whoa, this is my baby, look at her, isn't she wonderful? And then it becomes, okay, well, what are you doing? What is your success story? What are you working on? What are your goals? And that's when the person is lost, because they hadn't really thought about it. So it's difficult when you're literally in a relationship with someone that absolutely doesn't have the drive, doesn't have a vision, doesn't want to do anything, but they're happy that you're in their life because they get to live vicariously through you. That to me is just as worse as envying someone else's relationship. So as I state, episode 21 of Speak Your Soul, jealousy and envy, it just doesn't work either way it goes. Whether you're in a relationship and you're looking at somebody else in another relationship and you're jealous of the things that they have, jealous of all the pictures that they're posting on social media, it's their own skewed perception of what their relationship really is. And who knows what's happening behind closed doors? Who knows if this couple is really getting along? Who knows? But we spend so much time with our eyes scrolling through social media all day to the point to where we get starstruck, or our eyes turn into stars because we want so badly to find love, to be in love, and to be happy, to the point to where we literally start to see all these relationships and all these people on social media, and we say, oh man, look at them. If they can do that, then we can do the same. People are stealing ideas from people, on social media, thinking, oh, it's that easy. Just book a cruise and, take some pictures and post them on social media and everything is okay. It's not that simple. It's never that simple. So you can't literally be that jealous. That envious of somebody else's relationship, because social media is one thing. It looks great. Trust me, been there, done that. Anything that I'm talking to you guys about, I can say from firsthand experience. I've been there, done that. And that's one of the things that I thought you had to do to prove that you were in a great relationship, that you had to post everything on social media. You had to tell everybody that you were in a relationship. You had to put all your business out there for everybody to envy you. And that's not the case. You don't want that type of attention. And to be honest, what this has taught me, all of these lessons, it's better for you to just keep all of your relationship information to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. So, if you're in a great relationship, or you're married, or you're with someone, the best thing you can do is keep all of that off of social media. Me personally, you'll never know if I'm in a relationship or if I'm married or whatever it is, because I don't feel justified that I need the attention or want the attention that I would put all my information out on social media. I'm clearly for just keeping things discreet, and that's just lessons learned after watching so many people posted they were in a relationship and really wasn't in a relationship. After seeing so many people post pictures of their relationship, and then when the relationship ended, all of a sudden now they're scrapping every single last picture. They're tearing down everything on social media. Some people have shut down pages completely because it had pictures of their fiance or their ex-husband or ex-wife or old girlfriend, because they put that person all over their social media, and people have started to tell their story, and start to envy them. They feel like they don't want to let those people down. So now, they shut down their pages, or they, like I said, or take every single last picture that you've ever taken with this person completely off of social media. Well, that's what happens when you live your life through social media and you live through these relationships, and you're trying to justify what you do, on social media to everyone else. But guess what? Some people are looking at you like, I don't believe it. And then there are other people that are just like, oh man, look at that. But when it all goes down, quote Kanye, when it all goes down, then what? All of a sudden, this beautiful relationship that everybody thought was just so amazing because you did this and you did that, now you're stripping everything clean. What happens now? What's left after that perfect relationship that you've put on social media? What happens when it completely goes south? Then you've had to now erase the lies that you've placed out on social media to try to get everybody to like you for all the attention that you were doing. So you can't literally get caught up in trying to have a public relationship on social media. Yes, you're going to get some people that may be jealous or envious, but all it does in the end, especially if that relationship ends, is just make the situation worse. On the cool, most people really don't give a damn about what you're doing. Exactly. So it's, there are some people that see these pictures, now that I've grown up, in my mind, and start to really focus on myself, I can't get caught into what other people are doing. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing if you want to share your relationship, if you want to share your love, if you want to share your anniversaries and all that kind of stuff. I love it because I love love. For those who have watched episodes of Speaker Soul, I've said this time and time again, self-love, love, that's my thing. But you can't pay attention to what everybody else is doing. You can't listen to or watch videos and, pictures with hearts and, hands and stuff like that all day long. Like, there are so many people that post about their relationships, but won't post about anything else significant going on in their life. They can post you 1,000 pictures of their significant other, but won't post about anything else. So in that instance, not everybody wants to see what you have going on social media. Not everybody wants to see every single last thing that you guys are doing. It's beautiful that you guys are spending time with each other, that you guys love each other, but you're doing all of this to, putting on this big show, putting on this, this big, facade for who? Because some people are going to watch. Some people could, but the majority of the people could care less. You're right about that, Frey. Not everybody is for it. Is here for the social media and all the pictures and stuff like that. But jealousy and envy won't work because it's just, you can't keep it up. You can't sit and think that those people or other people outside of your relationship hold something else or hold the key to a perfect relationship. You have to make your relationship what it is. You have to do what you can do in that relationship. If it's not working for you, then so be it. Then move on. But don't live in a false sense of security thinking that somebody else has it better than you. That's never always the case. It's a bad spirit to have. Exactly. So you can't live off of what somebody else is thinking, what somebody else is doing. You have to go through your own levels. Like they always say, levels, there's levels to this. You have to deal with your own levels in your own relationship. And so if you guys, you don't have to always be jet setting and catching a flight and going on a cruise and all that kind of stuff. If that's not your relationship, that's just not your relationship. But you have to stay within the confines of what you guys have going on between the two of you. You can't see what somebody else is doing and be envious of what somebody else is doing and say, oh, I want to do that. Well, that's not for everybody. And like I said, you never know what's going on underneath the pictures and everything that you see on social media. So this is a lesson that I had to learn for myself. Some people that posted on the actual poll said, nope, you know, they've never been jealous or envious of anybody. They were too busy focused on their own relationship. And I applaud you. You know, for those that came on here and said, no, I've never been envious of anybody else's relationship. I stick to my own. You know, for somebody said, yeah, I may have been envious of somebody when I was a little bit younger. And I think we all have. You know, when you're young and you're just starting out, you look to, you know, older couples or people that have been in a relationship for a long time, and you go, oh, okay, well, I want to have what they have one day. But trust me, you never know what price they had to pay to get to 10 years married or 15 years married or whatever it may be. So you can't always think that the grass is greener on the other side. So kudos to everybody that replied to the poll. But there was one person that replied on the poll, and that was the first comment that was made. And I want to talk and explain this a little bit because, like I said, not a lot of people felt inclined to talk about this particular subject because, let's face it, jealousy and envy, nobody wants to admit that they were jealous and envious of somebody else. So when I put this poll out, you know, I kind of expected to get what I got. Not everybody truly understands or can come to terms or come to grips with, you know, things that have happened or things that they experience in regards to being jealous and envious of someone else. But someone said I was unhealthy. So I applaud her for making that comment because, like I said, not everybody wants to be honest and real about things that have happened to them in their past that they've experienced. But I'll have to give her credit. She said I was unhealthy, meaning, and then we talked a little bit about it a little bit further, meaning that, you know, yes, she was jealous. She was envious of the person that she was in a relationship with. And like I said, it takes a strong person. It takes a person that knows themselves to be able to say that and to be able to come to terms and to grips with that moment that moment of weakness that you had, and to be able to understand that that was then, you know, this is now, and I've grown from it. So much love to this sister for jumping on here and saying that. Because like I said, not everybody will be honest about things that they've experienced. Jealousy and envy is just not a subject that a lot of people, like I said, are willing to come clean about. But when you use the word unhealthy, you know, that lets you know that there was some pain there. You know, there was some issue there. And so I'm glad that, you know, she was able to work through that particular part of her life. And now we're come on the other side of that. But a lot of times we deal with a lot of people that are unhealthy, that are unstable, you know, because they have so much that's inside that they refuse to talk to anybody about. And one of the things that I love about Speak Your Soul, and I love about the people that tune in and do the poll every week, is that that's your opportunity to let go of some of the things based on the topics that I talk about. That's your opportunity to let some of that stuff go. That's an opportunity for you to celebrate the wins and the victories. If you've moved on, if you've gotten over it, you know, or some of you may not have gotten over it. That's your opportunity to be able to speak about it and say, hey, I did go through a tough time with this. I struggled with this, but I won. And so I'm glad that I can post something, or I can have this platform to where it's almost like therapy, right? For people to be able to talk about their experiences, things that happened to them in the past, and to be able to express themselves freely without any judgment, and everyone to be able to chime in and have something to speak about. But I'm so glad that she made that comment, because a lot of times we deal with stuff and we just deal with it silently, and we never speak about it. We never say anything about it. And then once again, that just festers over time. When we don't get a chance to release that, we don't get to talk to anyone about that. So I hope that Speak Your Soul is a, that show, or that vessel that allows people to be honest, speak up for themselves, say what they have to say, speak their mind at all costs. And trust me, if somebody says something out of line, then I get the I get the ability to be able to smack that hand and say, no, we don't do that there. But kudos to for her for speaking out, because you never know what someone is truly going through in their mind, their mindset, going through a relationship. And like I said, I've had that happen to me in relationships where I was with someone that was very jealous and envious of what I was doing, what I had going for me, that I was out there. At one point in time, I was meeting celebrities every week. I was getting to interview some of the top R&B, hip hop, rap artists out there. And so when I would come home and I would talk about it, all I could see was, oh, you got a chance to kick it with Ludacris. You got a chance to talk to these people. And you could just see in his mind, he was just like, I wanted to do that. Well, how do you get to do that? Why are they choosing you? And it's just like, I busted my butt to be able to get to this point to where I can do this in my career. So shout out to everybody that's doing their own thing, that's grinding, that's being an entrepreneur, that's got something going on for themselves. Realize that you have to have somebody just as driven, as determined as you, and not just love you for what you bring to the table. Those relationships tend to never work, because you're sitting with somebody that literally wants to do nothing but push you and make sure that you get it, but they have no drive and ambition for themselves. And just like Kelvin said, bring that back around. If you are with someone that's that determined, that's that driven, that is out there getting it for themselves, creating an income, doing big things, doing great things, it should inspire you to want to get out there and get something for yourself, to really make a name for yourself. But unfortunately, we have people in relationships that want to sit there and hang on your coattails, watch you go out there and get it, but are not driven themselves to go out there and get it for themselves. And those relationships don't work, because it turns into resentment and a whole host of other things. But jealousy and envy, to bring back the title, jealousy and envy, it doesn't work. Social media, it's not all this cracked up to be. Watching celebrities and their relationships and saying, oh, that's relationship goals, where you have no idea what that relationship goal is, truly what's happening in that relationship. So many people ran out and said, oh, Will and Jada, that's relationship goals. Well, you see what's happening there. You see more of their information just start to trickle out. You see rappers that end up with R&B chicks, and you go, oh yeah, that's relationship goals. I want that same relationship. And then you find out that he's beating her or something like that. So you can never, ever, ever, ever think that, especially with celebrities, especially with things that you see on social media, that it's everything that it cracks up to be. There's always some underlying issue. There's always something going on within that relationship that you know nothing about. So it's best to just stay off of it. Let those people live their lives, do what they want to do. If they want to live it out through social media, so be it. But don't be surprised that all the posting, doing all of this to get that attention from everyone, to make people jealous and envious of you, when that stuff backfires on people, especially those that create relationships that they're not really in, knowing they don't have a significant other, they don't have a girlfriend, they don't have a boyfriend, but they're doing that to try to get your attention because they want you to be jealous. They want you to be envious of a relationship. And then they create, more and more of the narrative that doesn't exist. So everything that you see, it's not all it's cracked up to be. And I hope you guys understand that you have to be strong in your relationship. You have to be okay with everything that's going on at the time in your relationship. You can't live your life through someone else as far as in the partner that you're with, and you can't live your life vicariously through somebody else. It's just not going to work. And so I hope that, we take a look at some of these, relationships, and we see it for what it truly is, and that you guys start to focus more and more on yourselves. I talk about this every week. It starts with you, and self-love for yourself. No one else can love you like you, and you can't expect anybody else to love you if you don't love yourself. So it starts there. So if that's going on, then you have to do your own evaluation in the relationship that you're in. Pray said, help us, Lord. Why go through all that? Trust me, people go through all of that. That's what, to be honest with you, it's kind of like what she said. She said, I was unhealthy. Sometimes, when you're seeking attention like that, and you're creating a narrative, and you're trying to get people to envy you and to be jealous of you, that's something going on inside of you. That's something that you need to talk to somebody about, because you can't think that creating a relationship or doing all that stuff and creating a narrative and pretending that you're in a relationship with someone is going to bring you any type of happiness or joy. It's not. You're going to get likes on Facebook, and if that's all you really want, then you don't have to be in a fake relationship to do it. So hence why I say time and time again, I love Speak Your Soul. I love this platform. I love being able to come Wednesdays at 5:00 to be able to talk to you guys. But me, as far as my relationship, my life, my personal life, you don't see me posting anything about that at all, because that's strictly for me. Some things are reserved just for me, and that's one of them. So as much as I love every single last one of you out there in La La Land, I really, really keep that stuff separate from social media. They do it for clout. Anything for clout. You're right about that, Kelvin. Some people will do just literally about anything for clout, which is sad. They want people to respect them. They want people to envy them and love what they're doing, but it's not really necessary. If I have to create a relationship that doesn't exist, it just doesn't exist. I'm not going to jump through hurdles and hoops trying to create one for clout. Hey, Kelly, what's up? So literally, for everyone that's paid attention or that's tuned in to this episode of Speak Your Soul, we were talking about jealousy and envy, and it's not worth it. It won't work. Being jealous of things that you see on social media, whether it's relationships with celebrities, or whether it's your friends and their relationships, not everything that glitters is gold. And I'll say that time and time again. So you have to be comfortable with who you are. You have to be comfortable with the relationship that you're in, and you have to be your own relationship goals. You can't see what people are, couples getting together, because who knows, a week later they may break up. That's just the kind of the era of the times that we're living in. Some people are literally wondering if they'll ever find love or they'll ever find a relationship. And guess what? That may actually happen to me. But the one thing I won't do is I won't create a narrative that I'm in a relationship and I'm not. And I'm definitely not going to throw my information. If I do have somebody, I'm not going to throw that information out for social media to critique and be like, oh, Shantae's got a boyfriend. Remember that song, Shantae's Got a Man? I hated that dang song. You know why? Because people used to sing it to me incessantly. Shantae's got a man at home. But it's just like, I don't care that Shantae Moore has Kadeem Hardison at the house. And you see what happened there. They broke up. Their marriage disintegrated. So I hate that song, but it's once again because it's something public. If I have a good man at home, guess what? Throw it away. You'll never know it. But I felt like she got on there and used that song and started flaunting, oh, I got a man and he wines and dines me, he does this for me and he does that for me, and he takes me out to eat and loves his mama and all this kind of stuff. That song, I just absolutely couldn't stand it. And it had to be called Shantae's Got a Man, right? So figured. I'm sorry. I had to go ahead on a tangent about that, because as much as I love Shantae Moore as an artist, I couldn't stand Shantae's Got a Man. But because once again, it's bragging. It's telling everybody, I want you to envy me because I'm with Kadeem Hardison, and you guys are going to want to be like me or be in a relationship. So once again, who cares? If it's truly something worth salvaging and it's truly something that you're proud of, nobody will ever know about it. That's just my opinion. Other people want to shout their love to the rooftops. That's great. But you shouldn't be envious of or jealous of what other people have. Let them have what they have, whether it's real or fake. If that's them, that's them. But don't try to, spend above your means, and don't try to fix something that's wrong in your relationship trying to be like someone else. Don't do it. Social media can be a great source. It can be a platform. It can be a multitude of things. But the one thing you can't do is live your life vicariously through someone that may or may not have it together. So as I state every week, it's all about you. It's all about self-love. It's all about what you have to bring to a relationship as an individual that's going to be the true relationship goals that you have with that particular person. I hate that jealousy and envy is kind of a taboo conversation. Nobody really wants to talk about it because no one really wants to admit that they're jealous or envious of somebody else. But if you're real, and if you've dealt with that, like I've dealt with it, and you've moved on and you've grown from it, then you can understand and you can see things for what they really are. And I can't be jealous and envious of what other people are doing. If I'm by myself, then I'm going to rock by myself to the end. And I will be proud with doing so. But I will rock by myself before I get on social media and tell you guys a lie saying, oh, I'm in this relationship. We've been together. What's his name? I have no clue. What's he do for a living? Nope. I don't know what that is either because I made him up. So before I do that, I will shut down altogether. But I'm a true Sagittarius, and that means I don't tell lies to save my own life. I won't do it. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Speak Your Soul. This is episode 21. Thank you guys for tuning in every week, as you always do, giving your input to the Speak Your Soul polls. They come out on Tuesday. As a reminder, you can also check this out on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts. So the actual podcast is being aired with just the podcast without the visual. It's still on Anchor and on those particular podcasts. You can also see this. It'll be playing again shortly after this on Facebook. It's on Instagram as well. It's on YouTube. Your girl is everywhere. So Speak Your Soul or SY Soul Podcast or Speak Your Soul Podcast is where you'll find me if you want to look at some previous episodes and just kind of see what I've been up to over the last, we've been doing this since March. You can tune in and check out everything I've done so far. But once again, I appreciate you guys for checking in and tuning in to another episode of Speak Your Soul. I will see you guys next Wednesday, 5 o'clock. And as I always say, don't forget to speak your soul. Check you later.